Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of the chapter Life Processes. In the previous class, you have learned about one of the life process, that is nutrition. Under the topic, we have discussed about the type of nutrition which is available in green plant, that is the autotrophic nutrition. Moreover, we have discussed about the heterotrophic nutrition which is available in case of amoeba. You know that heterotrophic mode of nutrition is divided into saprophytic, parasitic and holozoic mode. Moreover, we have discussed that holozoic nutrition have 5 different steps. That was ingestion, means taking of food. Digestion means breaking down of food particle to simpler form so that it is easily absorbable by the cell cytoplasm or the blood. Third step was absorption, that means after the digestion of the food it is absorbed by the body. Next step was assimilation, that means digested food is distributed to each and every part. All the cells present in the body will get equal amount of food particle. And the last step was egestion. Egestion means excretion or removing of undigested food particle. So today, under the holozoic mode of nutrition, we will discuss about the nutrition which is available in case of human being. As human being comes under holozoic organism, likewise amoeba, human being also have 5 different stages or steps through which the complete nutrition process occur. Now let us first discuss about the digestive system. So it is a complicated system through which actually digestion takes place. Of course, in the previous class also you have discussed about the system. So the digestive system starts from the mouth. Then in the mouth, salivary glands are there. As you know, the digestive system is a complicated system made up of large numbers of organs as well as accessory glands. Accessory glands are some structure which can synthesize enzymes, and without the enzyme the digestion process is not possible. So we'll discuss about all kind of enzymes and their secretory gland which help in the process of digestion. These salivary glands are a kind of gland which secrete a particular enzyme, that is saliva or salivary amylase. So it is located in the mouth part. All of you know that our internal part of the buccal cavity or mouth is moist, or our tongue is slippery due to the presence of the salivary amylase. Next to the mouth part, a long tube is there which is known as esophagus. It is also written as OES. That way also esophagus is written. So if you start the term with E, then also it will be correct. Then the esophagus ends with a J-shaped stomach. This is the stomach which look like the J alphabet. Then along with the stomach, liver is there. Liver is of course not directly involved in the, or it cannot be actually included in the digestive system, but it is a part which secrete the enzyme for the digestion of the food. Then the stomach ends with a long pipe which is about 4 meters long, which is known as small intestine. Here you see this is about 4 meters long, but due to the coiling, the long intestine, small intestine, take a very little space within our body. So this is the part small intestine. Then the last part of the digestive system is the large intestine. That means the small intestine ends with a large pipe which is known as large intestine. And the large intestine opens into the anus. So like that way, mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine makes the digestive system. And along with the digestive system, lot of enzyme secreting glands are there which directly help in the process of digestion. So we'll discuss about all kind of enzyme and their secretory gland. Next is the part or the accessory gland present along with the digestive system and their secretion. First, already we have discussed that the first initial part of the digestive system was the mouth, and within the mouth or within our buccal cavity, salivary amylase is secreted. This is the enzymes. Okay, that means whatever is written within the pink color box, those are the enzymes, and the blue color box indicates the part of the digestive system, and extreme right hand side, this corner, indicate the boxes which represent the function of the enzyme. Okay, for example, salivary glands are there within the buccal cavity and they secretes the salivary amylase. Okay, and salivary amylase, when mixes with the food, they break down the simple carbohydrate. That means when we chew the food particle mixes with our saliva. Indirectly, saliva contains the salivary amylase, and the salivary amylase break down the simple form of carbohydrate like glucose, fructose, etc. That means partially some amount of food is digested within our mouth. Okay, now that partially digested food goes to the next part of the digestive system, that is the esophagus. Here you mind one thing, the partially digested food which comes from the mouth to the esophagus is known as chyme. Somewhere you may get the word chyme. Chyme means the partially digested food. Now what happens in esophagus? Actually there is no any secretion of the enzyme. So directly the partially digested food moves from the esophagus to the stomach. But the diameter of our mouth or buccal cavity is bigger than the diameter of the esophagus. So obviously when the food will be there within our mouth, it will look like a ball, a bigger ball. But that kind of bigger ball cannot go through a small pipe or esophagus because the diameter was too small. So what happens? The wall of the esophagus contract and expand. That means the wall of the esophagus is very much flexible. Whenever food will go to the esophagus in the form of a ball, it will expand. And moreover, the upper part of the food ball, wall of the esophagus will give a pressure on the food ball and automatically it will go down. So that expansion and contraction of the wall of the esophagus helps the food ball or the food particle to move easily towards the stomach. So that movement is known as peristaltic movement. Okay, and the phenomena is known as peristalsis. So hope it is clear to you what is peristalsis. Contraction and expansion of the wall of the esophagus, which allow the movement of the food towards the stomach. Okay, so that way, due to the peristaltic movement, the food will reach in the stomach. Stomach actually do not secrete directly any enzyme, but the inner wall of the stomach releases HCl. HCl, all of you know, hydrochloric acid. And this hydrochloric acid actually not involved in the process of digestion, being acidic in nature, but indirectly it help by breaking down or deactivating the saliva or salivary amylase, because until and unless saliva is mixed in the food particle, the digestion cannot take place, or the other enzyme cannot react on the food. So the saliva or the salivary amylase has to be removed. So that work is done by HCl. Okay, and moreover, being acidic in nature, it kills the microorganism. If any microorganism comes along with our food particle, that will be killed by HCl. So this is very, very important. HCl have two functions. First, it deactivates the saliva or salivary amylase. Secondly, it kills the microorganism. Okay. Then beside HCl, few amount of pepsin and mucus is secreted by the stomach. So ultimately, that pepsin or mucus break down the protein part. Few amount of protein are broken down by the pepsin or mucus. Then next to the stomach, the food particle moves to the small intestine. The small intestine is the area where the complete digestion takes place, because the small intestine receives the enzyme secreted by the bile, which is located in the liver portion, which is known as bile juice also, and the secretion of the pancreas. This is another organ. Pancreas secretes pancreatic juice. That means the secretion of the bile, which is known as bile juice, and the secretion of the pancreatic juice comes towards the intestine, small intestine, and they mixes with the food. So ultimately, that bile juice and the pancreatic juice will break down the remaining nutrient of the food. That is, all amount of food will be digested in the small intestine due to the presence of the different kind of enzyme. Thus, small intestine is considered as the site or the place of complete digestion. Okay, and the bile juice function is to break down the fat particle. Pancreatic juice, it contains two different enzymes which are known as trypsin and lipase. Trypsin normally break down the protein part, and lipase normally break down the fat portion. So ultimately, all nutrient will be broken down in the small intestine with the help of all these enzymes. Then the undigested food particle from the small intestine comes to the large intestine. So large intestine do not have any role in digestion, because already all the food, all the nutrients were digested. Only function of the large intestine is to absorb excessive water from the undigested food. That means large intestine resists the loss of excessive water from the body. Okay, ultimately the undigested food becomes solidified, which are releases through the anus. So this way, our digestive system consists of mouth, which have salivary amylase. This is the enzyme, and salivary amylase function is to break down the carbohydrate part. Then esophagus, along with the esophagus, one particular movement is there, which is known as peristaltic movement, or the phenomena is peristalsis. That means contraction and expansion of the wall of the esophagus. Then stomach, third part of the digestive system. Stomach, wall of the stomach secrete HCl, which deactivate or neutralizes the salivary amylase so that other enzyme can smoothly react on the food. Beside that, pepsin and mucus are also secreted by the wall, which break down the protein part. Then comes the fourth part of the digestive system, small intestine. This is the longest area where complete digestion take place, and the small intestine receive the secretion from the bile and the pancreas. So ultimately, fat, protein, everything, carbohydrate, left out carbohydrate part, everything will be digested in the small intestine part. So thus different organ makes our digestive system, associated gland secretes different kind of enzyme, and ultimately all the component of the food particle digested. So this was about the nutrition in case of human being. Here one more thing you need to memorize. HCl, which is secreted by the inner wall of the stomach, isn't it? This HCl, when it is actually a spontaneous process, automatically HCl, continuously HCl are secreted by the wall of the stomach. If the HCl will not get any food to react on, what will happen? Obviously deposition of HCl will be there within the stomach. So ultimately our stomach will be filled up with HCl. Okay, that means when you remain empty stomach for a long time, more deposition of HCl will be there. So being acidic in nature, obviously it will destroy the inner wall, very sophisticated, delicate inner wall of the stomach. So ultimately when the phenomena will take place continuously, if you remain empty stomach, ultimately the HCl secreted by the stomach will destroy the inner wall of the stomach. So ultimately what will happen? The inner wall will be broken down. It will come out along with the stool in the form of blood. So that lead to the peptic ulcer. It is of course a cancerous form. So peptic ulcer, the cause of the peptic ulcer is to destruction of the inner wall of the stomach by the excessive deposition of HCl. Hope it is clear to you. So this was all about the digestion in human. Now related to digestion, you have learned many terminology. Peristalsis already we have discussed. It is the involuntary constriction and relaxation of the muscle of the food pipe or the esophagus, creating wave-like movement that push the content of the canal forward. So here you see this is a part of the esophagus. Football is going through the esophagus. Contraction is there, then expansion. Wherever football is there, obviously that part will expand and the upper and lower part is contracted. Again, when the upper part contract, the football will get a pressure, it will come down. So that way, by the movement or by the contraction and expansion of the wall of the esophagus, ultimately the football goes down towards the stomach. Now another term is there, villi. Villi or singular villus are small finger-like structure in the small intestine. They help to absorb digested food. Each villi increases the surface area of the intestinal wall of the intestine for more digestion. That means these are some finger-like projection. These are enlarged view of some of the villi. These are the actual villi here. So this is the enlarged view which look like a finger. So this way numbers of thousands of villi are there in the inner wall of the small intestine. As you know that the small intestine is the area of complete digestion. So after digestion, the villi absorbs the digested food. Okay, so at a time, more and more digested food are absorbed due to the finger-like structure or presence of the villi. So thus the villi help in the process of absorption only. Okay. Now one more thing you will get in the book, that is the dental caries. This is actually a disorder of the teeth, or we may say tooth decay. What happened there actually? Tooth decay are also known as dental caries or cavities. Is a breakdown of teeth due to acid made by bacteria. The cavities may be a number of different colors from yellow to black. Symptoms may include pain or difficulty with eating. Probably most of you are familiar with the dental caries or tooth decay. Actually what happened if the food particle remain stuck in between the teeth, ultimately what will happen? After few hours, the bacteria will react on the food particle. During the digestion of the food by the bacteria, some acid will be secreted by the bacteria, and that acid will destroy the enamel part covering our teeth. So ultimately, after the a destruction of the enamel, the breaking down of teeth, or what to say, this cavity will take place. So thus dental caries or tooth decay occur. Understood? Action of the bacteria causes the secretion of the acid, which destruct the enamel part, and ultimately after the destruction of enamel, tooth decay or dental cavities occur there. So after taking the food, we should wash our mouth buccal cavity properly. So this was few of the terminology or phenomena related to the digestion. Try to get the conception clearly, and you all are asked to note down this chart. You have to memorize it. Which part of the digestive system secrete what kind of enzyme, and what is the function of that particular enzyme. So if you can memorize the whole chart, it will be beneficial for you, because normally 1 or 2 mark question may come like what is the function of pepsin or lipase or trypsin, or compare the functioning of like trypsin, amylase or bile juice. So that way any kind of question may come. If you memorize this chart, then only you will be able to answer it. So note down the whole chart, try to memorize it. So this was all about today's class. Hope it is clear to you. Go through the book, go through all the slides and make your conception clear. Few of the assignments are given. Compare the functioning of pepsin, trypsin and salivary amylase. That means from the chart, if you memorize the chart, obviously you can answer it. Also mention their source of production. That means from which gland pepsin, trypsin and salivary amylase are secreted. What causes peptic ulcer or acidity? That means you have to write about the secretion of the ACL, how more secretion of the or deposition of the ACL destruct the inner wall of the stomach. That thing you need to write. Then which part of the alimentary canal is associated with the complete digestion of food? The longest part of the digestive system. You have to name it. So these were the assignment. Keep it ready in your copy. Thank you all for attending to this class.